I'll say that this game surprised me. It's got a lot of negative reviews, which totally makes sense because apparently these developers had another game that they didn't finish, and then they kind of recycled content into this game. I will say the parkour is pretty good. The climbing is like a lot of times my hands would clip out of bounds and whatever, and a couple times the momentum of the character would get me killed. But the checkpoints are very forgiving, and the idea of running and jumping across buildings is just so exhilarating that I didn't really care. I will say enemy AI is brain dead, but it started to kind of make sense because the further I got in the game, I noticed that there was more ways of traversal. Mixing that with the combat, now suddenly the dumb AI makes sense because I'm trying to juggle my character's movement abilities and shoot at enemies at the same time. There was really good momentum in the main campaign, and I thought that it was leading to something special. And then suddenly I was hit with a stealth mission that lasted far too long, and it was basically an auto-scroller. I didn't have the ability to jump, I couldn't do any sort of parkour. Honestly, it was terrible, and it felt like it was there just to pad out the game. When I finally came out of the stealth level, I was introduced to a katana weapon, which was awesome, but then as soon as I started attacking enemies with it, it wasn't cool at all. It was actually just a busted garbage weapon. It would take like 50 hits to kill a dude with the katana, or I could just, pull out my knife. I want to point out that at this point in the game, they disabled my guns. And that's about as far as I got before I started getting bored. Now, would I recommend this game? Kinda. I will admit that I was having fun playing it, and I might end up beating it in my off time. It's just surprisingly jank, but at least the concept is pretty cool. A VR version of Mirror's Edge is kind of dope. I guess I'll say that unless you really want to end up collecting everything, there's not much reason to replay missions.